Okay, and we are live on YouTube. Head over to Ideal Barber on YouTube and see if it's published live. Let me make sure my microphone is hot. Test, test, check. Let's switch to going on. All right, switching cams real quick. No sound. You can't hear me? Mic check. Can y'all hear me now? Mic check. Check, check. Put in the chat. I see somebody said no sound. But let me know. Can y'all hear me now? If you can, give me a thumbs up like this. No audio, no audio. All right, let's see here. Okay, you hear me? Let me see if I can switch to my Bluetooth AirPods. Sound is working. Check, check. Mic check. Can y'all hear me now? I'm seeing good in the chat, but I don't know what's the latency. I don't know if y'all are responding to how it is right now, or is it? All right, so I'm getting some thumbs up. All right, we're gonna go ahead and run with it. All right, so add a little couple effects to this thing, y'all. So let's talk about the process. All right. So number one is the consultation. So if y'all can still hear me, I'm going to go ahead and discuss what I typically go through when I'm cutting my clients. First and foremost is the consultation. Consultation is always most important because it's really a waste of time to go through the process of doing an entire haircut if you're not sure that it aligns with what their desired outcome is. That's why one of the reasons I decided to go with ideal barbershop is it's the word ideal means one's perception of what's perfect. So my job as a service provider, as a barber who's talented, is to make sure I connect my talent to what they see as perfect, not what I see as perfect. All right. So first things first is making sure that that communication is there. Before we went live, he told me that he had to, make some subtle changes himself to his cut. So he said he butchered it, but butchering, probably would look a little more dramatic, a little more drastic when he came in. But it's not that bad, bro. You do pretty good work, man. For at home cut or in Vegas cut, it wasn't that bad. So we're still doing the drop shadow fade. We're just gonna take it up a little higher. That's the goal. All right. So for the shadow part of the shadow fade, I'm still going to keep that low for reference for y'all. But the actual blend part is what I'm going to raise up. So last time it was a clean fade. I loved the haircut last time, but like I said, it wasn't quite what he wanted. So he took it up a little higher himself. This time I'm going to still keep the fade section low, but then go higher with my clipper over comb technique to take out density and to make sure that the sides of his blend on top of the fade section is smooth and there's not too much bulk around there. Hope that makes sense. This is barber lingo, y'all. I'm gonna keep talking the way that I usually do things. All right, you can hear me now. Bet got some thumbs up, clear. Let's go. Let's get it, man. I wish I can play some music, man, but I don't want no copyright problems. Next time, maybe next week, I'd have some dope custom tracks, man. If y'all know anybody that can send me a track, please get some music playing in the background. All right, so number one is the consultation. We can take that and add number two, which is excess. What I mean by this is there's really a need to connect, like I said, what I want to do with what he needs. So it's time to, and I'm sorry, assess. So we have to assess what's going on. And like I said, he had to cut his hair already. So I'm just going to go through and make sure that there's no real issues, anything that I think may be a huge problem that could derail this cut. And this is a point of view camera, man. So y'all about to get this water. Y'all about to get this water point of view. All right, so yeah, assessing the haircut. So let's comb through it and see what we got going on. See how bad this damage was he claimed that he did. All right, so it's a little high. Got some weight right here. So before I just jump in, I know that I can clean that up easily. And you say you did take out some already, so do you feel like it needs to be lower? or is this a good length?
No, I feel like the length is good.
Okay, so the more just clean up the blend. Okay.
Blend is trash.
Let me check the other side. All right, yeah, this isn't too bad. So yeah, so the other side is a little higher than this side. Um, First thing I'll do is remove some of the bulk around both sections, right on top of his temples, to kind of clear my canvas for me to go in and do my normal fade techniques. Because this work wasn't done by me, I know I have to clear my canvas, right? I have to make sure the canvas is set to how I typically fade. So just jumping in right now, clipper over comb, knocking out some bulk. Let's go back to the other side. What's up, Meg? Good morning. We are live on YouTube right now. Go ahead and jump in the fray. All right, so yeah, that was pretty quick. I don't know if y'all can see how easily that came together. When I say easy, I mean the way that I was fading, that technique that I used was able to clearly knock out that bulk line, and I was using clipper over comb technique. So for me, that's the easiest way for me to knock out weight, knock out bulk lines that don't need to be in a fade, is just to do a 45-degree angle with clipper over comb, and boom, you see how that transition kind of fell in. Now, of course, I still need to go in and fade it all the way clean, but I love clipper over comb for that purpose. It's a good way to remove bulky areas. And right now, I'm kind of just talking to y'all as if you're following along perfectly. If you have questions in the chat, we'll get to them. But just give me a second, just continue to kind of walk through my perspective, my point of view. Um, Generally, I get questions about the Clippers. These are an older model of the caliber 50 cals. I bought probably two other Clippers since I purchased these, and these are still my hitters. Like I love the way they cut. They're really smooth, really powerful, 5-hour battery life. Um, this isn't a promo for them because they ain't paying me for this, but I do appreciate what they were able to do with this particular Clipper. But I'm definitely an advocate of using what you have. I don't believe that you need to purchase um, clippers every year to make your haircuts turn out dope. All right. Sometimes it takes time to get used to what you have, and most of these clippers are really dope, and you don't need to upgrade every year. I think at the most maybe 3 years you should look at it if they're built well. But yeah, these are doing well for me. So these are my go-tos. My number one, my bottom. How's the does it look good from the stream? Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing something a little different. You know, I got the blue light in the background, y'all. You know, I'm telling you, I kind of went in last night. I was up a little too late doing all this, but I wanted to make sure that you guys had a good view of what I have going on. That's good. Cool. All right. Let me add in my zero guard. All right. So the first step I just did was assess the problem. The problem was the bulky area. Did some clipper over comb. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start my fade process. So I know with a shadow fade, I like to use my zero guard. Um, I'm gonna do zero halfway open because of his density and how um, fine his hair is. So he has really fine hair. It is really dark, but for me, I want to make sure that there's a great transition between the light part of my fade and the dark part of my fade. Now, I'm a huge fan of bald fades. I think the bald fade is the best fade for anybody with black hair because it creates a whole lot of contrast. But shadow fades can work well as well. What'd you say? Yeah, it should be on. It's not on. All right. No, it shouldn't be recording. Do you see the monitor? Do you see the Okay, cool. So on my laptop, you can switch between that camera angle and my point of view. So let me show you that real quick. Y'all hold on one second. Um, And I can move this off the screen because we don't need this no more. So right here is the overlays. You click this little eye to take it off the screen. And this last one was frame. So we'll get into that later, y'all, but you can change the cameras by clicking on the point of view and changing it to, is it me? Yeah. So now it's a live stream of this view. So you can pick it up, you can come closer, you can zoom in, you can just switch it up with that angle. If we want to go back to point of view, go back up to this corner and change from me to point of view, and boom. Y'all let me know if it's a little dark too. I turned the lights off, but we can turn them back on if y'all need to see clearer. Matter of fact, let's try that. Turn the light on, the main lights, and let's see from people's perspective. Not the one up back there, the one over here. Let's see from their perspective which one works better. So is this clearer, y'all? Is this better? Hopefully it wasn't too dark. I wasn't trying to set a mood. I was just trying to set the scene. Yeah, I was telling them that it's a little quiet in here. I wanted to add some background music, but I don't want no copyright issues, so we just gonna keep it. We just gonna hit the button of these clippers right now, y'all. Any questions about what I was doing? So that's the live chat from YouTube, what you see. So I'm doing a little freehand work right now, y'all. I went halfway open with the bottom of my blend. Now I'm all the way open as I try to transition to the next section of my fade. So I'm all the way open and doing more freehand. I'm not adding any harsh lines in between my fade sections. Like I said, his hair is fine and his density isn't really high. So I can do more freehand work. It'll get me through my fade without me having it being way up here, right? Sometimes when you create fade sections, because you have so many steps, you end up just taking that blend higher and higher. Next thing you know, he has a box. We don't want that. We still want to keep some density. So this fade technique will be more of using some point cutting, some notching techniques. All right. Is the timer still on there? Well, how much time is left? All right, cool. So I wanted to set the timer to mirror exactly what I typically do. It was set as a 45-minute timer. Though I am going through a full tutorial, y'all, I still wanted to be authentic and I want to be transparent about how I'd like to manage my time. Just because I'm doing a tutorial doesn't mean I don't have a schedule today. I actually have clients lined up right after Tariq, so I want to make sure I stay on schedule. So it adds a little extra pressure to make sure we get through it properly, but at the same time, it's a real life example of what a real shop haircut is like. They do. I don't use them. I use the wall premium guards, but that's a personal preference for me. The caliber guards are good enough. So if I didn't have the walls, or if I had to use the guards that came with them, I would be fine. I've used them before. Matter of fact, I think the one guard that I use is the caliber guard. So yeah. So yeah, doing some clip roll for comb again, y'all. Walking through this blend. Like I said, his hair is really soft, so clip over comb will be a great way for me to efficiently get through this cut. At the top, it should show you a number, the top right-hand corner, but I ain't really concerned. Yeah, this is going to record and save to my Mac anyway, so I'll be able to use this content and repurpose it. So, do you remember how I told you to switch cameras? Can you switch views and then take it off the tripod and get close? You say you do still want to take it up, take out some density, right? Bro? Again, so doing some freehanding technique. A lot of barbers avoid doing fade work like this, but it's more of an advanced technique for sure. I'm still maintaining about it's not quite 45-degree angles, but it's more like a 30-degree angle as I get higher and higher on this section. Again, he claims he butchered it, but if he would have really butchered his hair, I wouldn't have been able to say that by still doing the same haircut. So you did better than what you did, man. Now, when you cut your own hair, don't walk around telling people that I'm your barber. Unless we just need to make that clear. You know what I'm saying? I'll be your secondary barber. Tell people that I'm the backup barber. But if they ask you, just nah. All right, so we're gonna do a low taper in the back here. AirPods fell out. Can y'all still hear me? Mic check. Throw a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me. My AirPod fell out. I just want to make sure that we reconnected. But yeah, just doing a low taper in the back here. Check that down there. He has a little bit of a swirl right here. So for me, that means whatever direction the hair is growing, I got to go the opposite direction to make sure that I blend it correctly. So when the swirl shows up, you got to swirl with it. Got to go in the opposite direction of how that hair grows. Cool. All right, put my zero back on. Got a little bit of a weight line here I'm going to try to knock out. Any questions about this technique? Did I miss any questions in the chat, May? So yeah, this is more, like I said, more of a freehand technique. Not going to put any hard sections in this blend. All right, got a little bit of weight right here, so I can just use flip over comb. me turn this way so I can see. Switch back to the point of view camera. Remember how to do it? All right, so I talked about the 3 steps to generalize what I do with my fades, y'all. So the first step was to consult. And can you put that back on the screen, the overlay? Tap on the I next to consult, number 1. So that was me doing a consultation with him, talking about his needs and his desires and connecting that to my skill set. So he wanted a higher shadow fade. It's important to consult because you don't want to give them something that they don't really want. No matter how dope the haircut is, if it's not what they wanted, they ain't coming back. Say again? Yeah, take off the screen. And number 2 was assess. And assess means you're actually, before you actually start cutting, go through, survey the land, see what's going on, see if you got any potholes on this road that you're about to travel. You know what I'm saying? For me, it was that weight on the other side. There's a little weight in the blend over here. So before you just jump in and go through your normal routine, assess what you got going on. Look at your canvas, see what your scalp looks like. See if they have any excess product in their hair, which would definitely be working against you if you're trying to do a clean blend. And then the last one out of those 3 steps with the dope haircut is to frame. And what I mean by frame is this is more about head shape. You want to make sure that you frame this cut to fit them. A lot of times people spend great money on a piece of art, but they will spend a nice pretty penny on that frame that goes around that art. For short haircuts like this, that frame can be displayed in a couple different ways. It could be the hairline itself can be a frame. The head shape and the shape of the haircut is also serving as a frame. In this case, it'll be both. I'll start off with the shape of the cut, but also his lineup and the way that where we place the line is important to make sure that we frame this haircut well. What's the timer say, May? Perfect. No more questions, y'all? Y'all just following along? Any questions in the chat? I mean, y'all need to ask questions. I'm still going to use this content, you know what I'm saying? But I don't do one-on-one tutorials right now, so this would be a great way to get some one-on-one type of value if you have a question about what I'm doing, why I choose to do what I'm doing, why don't I do it this way instead of doing that way. Okay. Yeah. You need to get better with clipper over comb. There's a couple different things you need to be considering. Number 1 is the tool itself, the comb. Not all combs are made equal. Some combs make it really, really difficult to do clipper over comb because they don't necessarily pick up the hair and separate it off the scalp like that. So I would say number 1 is check your comb, make sure that it's the type of comb that you can do clipper over comb work with. 2 is practice your angles and make sure that you're not holding the comb too flat against their scalp and their head. The more flat it is, the less transition you'll get, and you'll end up just having the same uh, blend or the same level of hair all the way up. You have to bevel it out to a 45-degree angle, especially as you go up, and this will help you with your transition. So the best tip is just to get into it, man. You have to make mistakes to grow and to learn what you're doing wrong, and you have to explore. So get you the right comb. I'm not going to endorse a particular comb, but just practice with a few different ones. There are other combs out there that are made specifically for doing textured hair, clip over comb work. I don't necessarily use those combs. I'm really comfortable with the one that I have because it works for me. So find one that works for you and just get busy. Experience is the best teacher, and that's with every craft, not just barbering. But yeah, you got to put in those 10,000 hours. That's kind of what it comes down to. The comb is really one of the best tools, one of the best guards you can have. And yeah, you heard me say it right. It is a guard because essentially you're replacing whatever guard that you would typically put on somebody's head. I'm sorry, on the clippers. So you beveling out the comb, holding it at 45 degrees, is you essentially having on a one guard. If I go up higher and do that same technique, now I have on a three guard. So I hope that makes sense, y'all. We're keeping the beard dark as well. All right. You want to trim it down a bit? Any?
Yeah, I do want to clean it up like slightly. But I like the way that.
No, I do. May you got any questions since you're here? You can get the one-on-one game. Yeah, this one is a little more custom than the one I will teach you or that we've been discussing. This one is definitely heavy on the comb rather than doing a whole bunch of sections. Mm-hmm. Actually, yeah, we'll assess it. Did you record the whole haircut? Hmm. Did you take off the frame overlay? Is it still sitting there? And put back on the one that says drop shadow fade if it's not up there still. Okay, cool. No, not what you can live. I can't. Hmm. Yeah, this third party software is amazing. It allows us to do these type of tutorials and eliminate some of the back end editing by being able to add stuff live. All right, so again, as he faces me, I don't know if you can see this paint, how I can see it, but I'm angling these clippers so that I'm not too flat on his scalp. I want to give him more of a round oval shape, so maintaining more of a 30, closer to 45 this time degree angle, with the bottom of my blades closer to his scalp than the top of my blade. Oh, good question. It depends. I trying to think what's the best way for me to explain how I go back and forth. I think it depends on density. A lot of my work is dependent on density. So right now, I can do clip over comb and have them closed, and it'll give me more of a direct, more aggressive attack on the section that I'm working on. If I'm open, it's almost like I'm feathering the blend, right? So if I do open blade, the hair has to go further to feed through the cutting blade. So it's almost like a smoother way, a less risky way to do clipper over comb. So if you're just starting off clipper over comb, I would say try with your blade open first. Make sure your clippers are powerful enough to still cut through the hair, because if they're open, it's going to be a little more difficult for that hair to feed through. If they're closed, clipper over comb is going to do easily go through it. But that's also what makes it a little more of an advanced way of going about it. Because his texture is more light, he has a finer texture. His hair isn't really dense. When I was doing more of my blending on the sides here, I was open because it gives me more of a softer look. Um, if I had a hard line, when he had a hard line on the other side when I first started, when I was going through the assess process, I had him closed. So I can aggressively go in and knock out that line quickly. Experience-wise, if you're new to clipper over comb, start with it open. If you feel that may be taking you too long to get the problem area out, then switch to closed. That was a good answer, man. Like it. Answer. There's issues with the sound. Okay. Oh, you going back of the history? Oh, it's all good. Hey, this natural sunlight coming in. Is it the point of view, or is it your both? Love it. So yeah, this natural sunlight is coming in, showing y'all this blend. Um, yeah, it's coming through clean. It's the zero or the half guard. To help me understand, I think, and if I'm not mistaken, the zero guard and the half guard is the same. But I typically do clipper over comb without a guard on at all. You can still do it with the guard, but I think it just depends on how thick the hair is that you're working on, like what section. If I'm down here, it wouldn't make sense to me to do clipper over comb with the guard on, because this level is damn near bald, right? So it'd be a waste of time, waste of effort. Now, if I was up through here, this is probably, I would say, about a 4 guard length through here, then I can put on my 1 guard and do clipper over comb. Or if I already had on my 1 guard, if I'm working on hair that's this thick, this dense, this long, then there's no need for me to stop and take off my guard just to do clipper over comb. Again, this is a more advanced way of thinking about it, but I like to save time with those type of steps. So in my instance, my case, the way I like to fade, I don't need to continue to take off the guard and switch back and forth between no guard, guard on, zero guard, with clip over comb. Like, really, the way you have to think about it is your comb is your guard. So really, no matter what you have guarded onto your clippers themselves, once you use clip over comb technique, that all changes. And you kind of just have to cut by feel and by the way things look. But even though it's a more advanced and difficult way to go about it, once you master clipper over comb, there's really not much that can stop you from doing a clean blend. Clipper over comb is probably that one hack that once you get it down, no matter what texture you're working with, you can still put out some dope work. Okay. And the settings, I have it set at 4K in the streaming app itself, but that really depends on the Wi-Fi signal on the internet connection. So once it saves and we're able to publish it on the page, we'll see how I'll get it really turned out. All right, can you switch to this camera view? I'm gonna take off this for a second. You on this one? Okay, cool. All right, so let's go ahead and start putting this frame on. Looking good on time. Again, Again, clipper over comb, this time using trimmers. I'll tell y'all, one of the most versatile techniques y'all can learn. How do you feel? Too sharp? Good.
That's good.
This is the point where I typically ask people, and then I check in, maybe not every cut, but every once in a while, is to make sure that my liners aren't biting around the bottom of this nape area. This is part of the edge of being more aware and having customer service in your mind, is that these are my hitters, these are my sharpest pair of trimmers. That combined with the most sensitive part of somebody's head is the back of their neck. So if you're going over here, if you're going to hurt somebody or cut somebody or give them some kind of irritation, it will happen right here. So I like to check in just to see how they're doing. You know, sometimes clients will just grin and bear it like it's supposed to hurt. That's kind of a sacrifice, but it ain't got to be like that. I do have another technique I can use. I can always go up to the line if it's way too sharp, or I can increase my angle and just tap really lightly on it. For me, I like to come in. I can even stretch the skin a little bit. I like to come in, place and drag, place and drag, place and drag. And if that's too sharp, then there's those other techniques I can use instead. Is there anybody in the chat still that is a current licensed barber or somebody who um, is already at the shop right now? Let me know y'all experience level. What's the group looking like that's watching? If you're still on live, um, let me know a little bit about you. How long you been licensed? Where you cutting? So I'm gonna change the angle and go back to point of view because I want y'all to see his front hairline and how we're keeping this natural. You on this camera now? All right. So his hairline is really strong, but he has a few cowlicks. It doesn't grow straight down. Nor does he even try to style it straight down because it's so long. So I'm gonna just tap in front of his hairline. I'm not gonna try to make this super sharp. I'm just gonna follow where his line naturally is and just follow it around. So I'm starting to center, coming around to the side. Let me mute the camera next time. That's just the light. I was just using some background lighting when I had the lights off to get some contrast. So, hey, man, I'm going all out. You know, we're gonna do this thing right. If you're gonna do it, you know, you got to do it. No doubt. Nah, we ain't never gonna be regular. What's the countdown time look like? Okay. I'm standing on his right side. I don't know if through the live stream if it's flipped, if it's mirrored. It's a good thing for me to pay attention to. But when I was lining them up across the front, I was working from the center, moving towards the right side. I'm sorry, moving towards his left side. It doesn't really matter for me what side I start with. It kind of goes back to that assess point. If one side of his hairline is stronger than the other side, then I'm going to start on the weak side first. I want to establish how well and how clean I can make the weak side of his hairline. When I say weak is, say he had alopecia or he had a balding spot right here on the right side of his hairline. That's the area I need to attack first. You don't run away from those parts of the fade, because really that's the part that's going to shape everything else. So you have to go with the weak part, make sure that looks clean first, and then match everything else up to the weak side. Same process when I'm maybe arching somebody's eyebrows. If I have a lady in the chair and she wants a nice high arch, I assess to see which eyebrow may be a little bit less dense than the other. It may be tempting to go with the strong one, and you get that one eyebrow looking perfect, but now you got to go to the weak side and try to make that one look like the dope eyebrow. Same thing with hairlines, y'all. You have to make sure that you match up the strong side to the weak side. Hey, let's get it. 15 years. That's what's up, man. Yeah, I've been at it full time now since 2012. 2011 is when I quit my job. 2012 is when I really started taking the craft serious. So it's right about 10 years now, right? It makes 10 years. But I've been going hard. Part owner of a couple barbershops. Was part owner of a school at one point. Some investments I made worked, some investments didn't. So over those 10 years, I've been able to gain some great experience. And it wasn't the wins that built me. Point of view now. Switch to this camera. All right, so this is going into the third stage of this haircut, which is the frame. I am going to take down his beard, but I'm framing it first. He's keeping it thick. But framing is a great way, framing or lining up first is a great way to set your boundaries and your borders for your lineup. And again, some of this stuff isn't necessarily new. I'm just going to share my perspective and the reason why I do certain things. For me, it's really important to maintain the sharpest line I can within the boundaries of what they want. Right? I don't want to push. I don't want to push the hairline back either. I don't want to change the desired look that he's going for. So I like to go ahead and just get an idea of how I want that frame to look by lining them up when the hair is really dense. So sometimes I'll even put a hairline on somebody um, as my first step with the haircut, especially if they have a hairline that isn't as strong or maybe has some light spots and they want to keep it really natural. You're waiting to the end of the haircut to put a line on somebody and they want a natural line. That can be tough now because you've already cut it down so much. You have to kind of fish around and guess on where you think the hairline should be. Put that frame on first. It don't have to be a final line like I'm doing here. It can just be a nice little tap. Maybe just put some guidelines on yourself. But that should help not only with keeping the hairline more natural, but with your efficiency and not spending too much time trying to do some guesswork on the back end, figuring out where that line should be. It's all good. Either way, we going off. What's the time? What's the on the countdown? Cool. All right, last 2 minutes, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and sign out and prepare for my next client, who will be here at 8:15. It's 8:03 right now. So yeah, thanks for rocking with me, y'all. hopefully y'all see the value and the intentionality behind this live stream. Trying to do it nice for y'all. Can you put up the amplify overlay? Do you see that one? So I know we were talking just a couple of minutes ago to the experienced barber. He said he's been here for 15 years. Any other barber out there that may be already experiencing your journey? And yeah, you're picking up tips about how to fade, right? And how I go through my processes. But I've been working over the last 18 months with the same kind of intentionality as you see here on a product called Amplify. It's a mastermind group for licensed barbers to help them with some advanced business building, marketing, business operations game, I guess is the best way for me to put it. These are things that I've been doing over the years to help separate myself in this highly competitive city of Atlanta. So I'm going live on Monday announcing the launch of it. If you're interested, go ahead and go to amplify.idealbarbers.com and sign up for the wait list. I'm excited because this is kind of the kind of product that I would want if I was, in the game and just needed a little bit of help on maybe just some clarity, right, on how to take it to another level. So that's what I'm teaching to Amplify. And we're going to go ahead and sign out of this live, and I'm going to finish up with this razor line. I'm Tyreek here. So, bro, I appreciate you again, man. Thanks for showing up early this morning. And we're going ahead and sign out, y'all. What's the time right? We got like 10 seconds? We're going to do a 10-second countdown like it's like it's New Year's. Which camera are you using? Yours. All right. Cool. Hey, y'all. We out of here. I think I may save this on my YouTube channel, but I'm not sure. We'll think about it. We'll figure it out. But yeah, thanks for checking in, y'all. And peace. We'll see y'all next Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Did you end the live? Okay. Well, let's see.
It's me trying to end the live.
Finish.